Hello and welcome to episode 14. Just pretend that first 10 seconds never happened.
I'm pretending.
It'll all be good. It's only the live viewers that get to see that. It's all going to be edited out for the YouTube and podcast.
Good evening, bestie.
We basically
How are you messing things up today?
We went visible before we were meant to.
Well, I'm glad I wasn't.
Anyway, I am joined by my co-host as always, and she is coming from the penthouse apartment in London. It is Miss Bree.
Live from London. That's me today. Hello, bestie. How are you?
I'm not too bad, thank you. I'm in the cat's.
Hung out for a while.
I know.
Have we?
I'm in the cat's bad books.
Donut Friday.
I'm in the cat's bad books as she had to go to the vets today to get flea treatment.
Oh no.
And yeah, she wasn't happy.
Oh.
She wasn't happy when the vet tried to tip her out of the box. And we'll say good evening quickly to Barlett and Debbie Jane 87 who are in the chat. Hello to you both.
Hello,
and
Barlett
welcome
and
along.
Debbie. Welcome.
So yeah, so she's not happy. She's like asleep on my bed at the moment, like not near me. I even put some food down for her, like a pouch, and she just looked at me like, "Do you expect me to go over and eat that now? I'm going to wait you out the room and then eat it."
Bestie, you are the scum of the earth. You know that.
Yeah, well, she was a flea bag. She needed treatment.
I don't understand how she gets these fleas because she doesn't go outside.
I don't.
What's that about?
I've no idea. They said she didn't need her worming tablet because she doesn't go outside. Because I said like she's really hard to get tablets down her, and they're like, oh, we can give her a spot on treatment. But it'd have to be like a week or so afterwards. And then they were like, well, actually, if she doesn't go out and she doesn't eat like snails and things, she's probably not going to get worms.
Do you remember that time when my cat Truman had to go on tablets and you introduced him to very, very bad ways? Do you remember that?
What, the ham?
It was Parma ham, and it was very, very close to bacon, which he hadn't ever had in his life. At that time, he was 17 years old.
Yeah, he'd never had catnip
got
before I came
a thyroid
along.
condition, and you bought him bacon, and it was all downhill from there.
He loved it. He loved it, though. And
bacon boy.
He had never had catnip as well before I came along.
No, and then so yes, you introduced him to bacon and got him stoned. Basically,
I got him on drugs and catnip.
Anyway, what have you been playing this week?
What have I been playing? Because it was Halloween, I decided to play Luigi's Mansion 3, which actually it came out last year on Halloween, and for some reason, I know why I didn't play it, because it actually came out on Halloween, and I missed the delivery, so I had to pick it up the day after, and it was all hassle, and then I just literally played it for about 2 hours, and this was the first time I played it again this week. And it's a puzzle game. I'm not good at puzzles. It confuses me.
Popping into your stream, and you do seem very confused. I have to say that.
I was today. I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. Someone Google it for me.
But the big news of the week, a reminder, ladies and gentlemen, what happened in Fall Guys.
I have won crown number 3.
Woo! Get the crown.
Crown number 3.
Crown. Well done, bestie. Good job.
Yeah, I know. It was like a really easy crown as well. I was concentrating and a bit stressed, but it just went really, really well.
The other big news of the week is the boif, Hogger of Xbox, has this week started Warzone.
Yes.
In serious, because he's actually killed somebody.
Wow.
I know, right?
Was it an accident?
No, he did it on purpose. So, I mean, everybody's winning all round.
I can kind of hear myself.
Me,
I can hear myself.
Oh, dear.
Little from your end.
So, I managed to get down into Blackreach. Skyrim again. I'm just going to take some sound out of this just to give us a bit of a better sound quality. So I managed to get myself into Blackreach, and then I got lost.
It's a big place, Blackreach. It's huge.
I was wandering around there for days, and you frightened the life out of me because when we did Donut Friday, you said, don't touch the big glowing orb because it's got a dragon in it.
No, I said, do touch it.
I was like, oh my God.
Unreal Force at it will release the dragon.
Right. Boom at it. Yeah, so that's me. That's what I've been playing this week. I've been literally crawling around in an underground cavern.
Yeah, I've done a bit of Skyrim. I married an orc last night. I thought, I bet no one marries this character. I'm going to marry her.
They're pretty ugly though, aren't
So
they?
we got a Khajiit and an orc, both female that are married, with a Nord child adopted.
Right, a same-sex
Cross-species
marriage
with
two adopted children.
No, just
who
one,
you've
just
given
one
a
child,
knife.
just one child at the moment.
Who you've given a knife?
No, she's got a wooden sword. She hasn't got a knife yet. She's got a wooden sword, and she's got a pet fox that she
It's all a
found.
bit wrong. Isn't
I
it?
came home one day and she's like, "Look what I found, mummy!" And I was like, "Hello, it's a fox. You got to look after it." But my kids are really annoying though. It's like whenever I come back, she's like, "Can I have an allowance?" It's like, "Oh my god, just milking
And this
me."
is why you can't have nice things, Bessie.
Just milking
Because you
me.
don't look after them.
Kids. Sheesh.
Anyway, should we get on with it?
Yeah, why not? Shall we do the quick news?
So-
The kind of news we don't really want to talk about, but we feel we should mention anyway.
Let's do that.
We so need that to a jingle. Chris.
Chris Colbert.
Pikmin 3's opening week on this is physical sales only, and this is just in the UK. Pikmin 3's opening week physical sales were lower on the Switch than they were on the Wii U in the UK. Yeah, it's like you say, there's a lot more digital sales going on at the moment, and it's only the UK. Let's wait a couple of weeks and find out exactly where it is. But
Physical sales and all that.
you know, it's a bit of a niche franchise, Pikmin anyway.
Call of Duty.
I turned you up too much there. Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War first Warzone season will begin in December. So there's going to be a crossover between the new Call of Duty that comes out in November this month and the Warzone. So I think it's like weapons from the game will be in the other game. And not too sure. They haven't really gone into much detail other than that.
Is that why it needs a whole load of space on a PC?
Oh, the PC is just ridiculous.
This is insane.
Yeah, Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War needs 250 gigabytes of space on a PC. We will say up to 250 gigabytes. It depends on what texture packs you're using. If you've got like a high-end graphics card, then yes, you will need that. You can do other things like you can just install the campaign or you can just install the multiplayer. You don't have to have both on there. So obviously once you finish with the campaign, you can take that off, but that's 250 gigabytes.
Wow.
There's no saying yet what that is going to be on the Xbox Series X and the PlayStation 5, but both of them are going to be like using high definition texture packs, so that might be all of your Xbox Series S's storage gone in one game.
Scary.
It is. And No Man's Sky will launch alongside the PS5 and Xbox Series X with a big next-gen upgrade, which watched a video on that, and it does look really, really nice.
Yeah, we had a quick look at this, didn't we, last
Yes.
week? And it looks amazing. So obviously people who've been tuning in previously know I play this. It was on Game Pass, and I refound it. And to get a next-gen upgrade, I am basically excited.
Yeah, it looks good. It's a shame you can't get that upgrade in VR, because that'd be amazing.
Yeah.
If it's a good game
So
in VR.
Speaking of
Yes,
Game Pass,
it's November. It's time for the Xbox and Sony to announce their free games for the month of November. So first up, we're going to go over to Xbox.
So Xbox games with gold for this month. We've got Aragami Shadow Edition. So this is a cross-platform multiplayer. So you and me, bestie, you and me. I trash your ass.
Isn't it cooperative?
I'll just shoot you in the back when you're not looking.
Can't always.
So that's available from the 1st of November. Swim Sanity, which is from the 16th.
Yeah, that looks good.
Full Spectrum Warrior, which again is from the 1st. And excited, drum roll, Lego Indiana Jones from the 16th.
Just the
And
original
that's my
adventures,
two
though,
picks.
because they did actually re-release the Indiana Jones Lego Adventures
right.
with the Crystal Skull one in there as well. But this is just the first 3 films.
So my pick is Aragami and Lego Indiana Jones. That's for me.
Yeah, I'll play the Indiana Jones games because the Lego games are okay.
Yeah.
They're a little
What's
bit,
on PlayStation?
a little bit
Plus,
mindless.
bestie?
On PlayStation, we are getting where are we? Okay, we are getting a first for PlayStation Plus on November 12th. So it's not the start of November, but this is to coincide with the PS5 launching. We are getting Bug Snacks. I mean, who was going to buy it anyway, really?
No one.
So we're getting Bug Snacks. Are we getting Shadow of War as well, which is a Lord of the Rings game? So set between the events of The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings in Middle-earth, Shadow of War beckons you once more into J.R.R. Tolkien's iconic world of wizards, orcs and elves. Yeah, I'm not is that like a strategy game? I can't really remember.
Yeah, it is.
I've pressed play on the trailer, so we're going to get a copyright strike. God, the volume's already off, which is good. It's not like Shadow of Mordor, is it, where it's just like running around? It looks all right, I guess. Could give it a go. Bartlett says you are very well coordinated with your white top and white furniture and white walls.
Oh, thanks very much. I'm a bit minimalist
And your silver
at
mic,
home.
and the silver mic as well.
Thanks very much.
And we also get in Hollow Knight, the Void Heart edition. Hollow Knight's had a lot of good feedback. I have actually got Hollow Knight on the Switch, and it's not a game for me, really. It's a Metroidvania platformy game, so I just didn't get into it when I played it. So they are the free games for PlayStation and Xbox this month. So if you want,
and that is the end of the quick news.
The quick news is over. Now we're into the long, boring news. Because there's not a lot have happened this week, really. I struggled to find interesting things to talk about.
So let's talk about EA, who's
yes.
been very naughty.
Oh, EA are always naughty. It's because they like that Mahoney.
Well, yeah, the Mahoney, it's all about the Mahoney for them, isn't it?
It's all about the Mahoney and how you spend it.
Yeah, Electronic Arts are looking at a €10 million fine over the FIFA loot boxes, and this is a court case that's come out of the Netherlands.
Yes.
So, little bit of background on this. This basically all started back in 2018. Now, the Netherlands has a gambling act, and they had a look into the loot boxes in the game. They examined 10, and they said 4 out of those 10 were in violation of the gambling law. And at that point, they were warned that an enforcement action would be taken if the required changes were not made by June of that year. So that was June of 2018. Obviously, they did nothing. They just said, nah, don't think so. We're all right. So then, fast forward to 2019, they were taken to court. And the ruling has just surfaced. And they're looking at a €10 million fine. So, yeah, they are appealing this. Yeah. But they say, well, our opinion is, and to be honest, it doesn't matter what your opinion is. It matters what the judge says, dudes. So that one made me laugh, to be honest.
Yeah, they're not going to get out of this. They're going to drag it on for as long as possible, but they ain't going to get out of it. I think it comes down to the question is what they're going to do, because they make a lot of money from these loot boxes. So essentially, a loot box is you buy a pack and you don't know what's in there. And you've got percentage chance of getting good things or mediocre things. So it's like a gamble. And obviously...
It's lottery.
The biggest game that this is really aiming at is FIFA Ultimate Team. And that's played by all age groups. So you've got kids being subjected to this. And I think that's what the Netherlands is kind of like saying. It's like your children are playing this and they're getting into that habit of gambling for loot boxes, so it's kind of setting them onto a slippery slope for later life, which is kind of one of the things that they're. I totally
see that argument. I really
one thing
do.
That they're saying.
EA are saying that it's a skill-based game, therefore, this is not gambling. But I mean, it's quite obvious.
It's like the football side of it is.
If you're buying something and you're not sure what you're going to get, it could be good, it could be bad. That's an element of chance, and if it's a chance game, it is gambling. So I'm like sticking with it.
Does that mean Kinder Eggs are gambling?
Yeah.
So yeah, I think EA is going to try and drag this out for as long as possible before they actually end up having to probably pay this fine. But even then, it's like, what are they going to do? Because this is a lot of money we're talking about from EA. Are they just going to ride it and just keep getting fined? Or are they going to be like, okay, any game in the Netherlands, we're taking loot boxes out? Because that's kind of a bit more of an issue, isn't it, to try and block it? Because the Netherlands, obviously, the region is the same as what we're in.
That's it.
So it's not like you're blocking the whole of America, whole of Japan, whole of Europe. Unless they do just block the whole of Europe and don't have loot boxes there and just have it in.
They'd have to. That's what they're looking at. And I guess they're doing the figures. I mean, 10 million euros is not to be sniffed at.
No, that's no. I know they're a big company, but obviously you don't want to just be paying that out in fines every couple of years. Yeah. It's a good thing for the business, I think, because obviously loot boxes aren't consumer friendly. They're obviously company friendly. I mean, fair enough if you couldn't spend real money to get them and it was all unlocked by in-game currency that you won from winning matches and stuff, then it wouldn't be an issue. But the fact that you can actually grab daddy's credit card, type the details in when he's when he's in bed or whatever, it's
Yeah.
It's one of those things.
Well, they've appealed it, and I guess, again, we will wait and see what happens.
I doubt they'll get a reprieve. Let's hope the next judge goes, actually, it's 20 million now. Bring it on again if you want to appeal.
We're not friends with EA at the moment, are we?
EA are one of those companies, unfortunately. They just one of those companies.
All right, so moving on.
Xbox boss has commented on whether Xbox Game Pass could come to PlayStation and Nintendo Switch.
Oh, Phil Spencer just recently, I mean, he just, honestly, sometimes I think the comments that he makes is all about the share price. So he's made some comments in an interview that he is open to those discussions.
Well,
so
of course he
is. Yeah, of course he is. That's it. But he's not sure if where the company will head. Well, of course, that's not where the company is head, because at the end of the day, how many players are they going to reach? This is what I look at. Is if you are opting for smart TVs, Amazon hardware, and iOS, your numbers are that much higher.
Yeah.
So
and I
just can't see it.
I don't think it's also like really up to him. It's like, why would Nintendo and Sony want this on their systems? Yeah. Because it's a subscription-based product. So how are they going to make money out of it, kind of thing? And also, It's like there are games on Game Pass that you can buy on their consoles. So that they're kind of just shooting themselves in the foot, sort of thing. If they can just... I know it's only the cloud gaming. I think why this has got a bit more attention is because obviously Control has just come out as a cloud-based game on Nintendo Switch. So people are more like, oh, Nintendo's much more open to cloud-based gaming now, so maybe xCloud will come to it.
Nah.
But I can't see how, that would make any sense for Nintendo to allow Game Pass, because how are they going to get their money? It's the same way as why Apple was like, no, we don't want you on, we don't want you on here. We're going to give you this list of ridiculous things to get you on here, because they can't make money out of it. So they're hosting it for sort of nothing, really.
What's interesting is that he actually has said, I'm sure we're going to iOS before that. And
yes.
I'd like to see those discussions.
They're working on a browser-based app for it, so that you don't actually have to log into, you don't have to download an app from the App Store. You just do it through Safari, is what I've heard they're doing.
I think that's a far more interesting discussion, to be honest.
Yeah. But obviously Apple's quite busy at the moment with Epic.
Well, yes, they've got a little scrap going on in the corner.
That's still sort of going on quietly in the corner.
And they've got their mates dragged into it as well, so it's going to be like a master scrap.
Yeah. So, I mean, never say never, but highly unlikely.
I can't see it.
I mean, I guess...
so someone's fired. The next story. Someone's fired.
Yes, Halo Infinite director has departed the project.
That's a very, very polite way of putting it, isn't it? So Chris Lee has left. This is a report coming out of Bloomberg, so I'm pretty sure that this is legit.
Yeah.
And let's call the development of Halo Infinite troubled, shall we? A
It's
troubled
going through
project.
some issues. Seen as like it was all scheduled to come out in what less in 7 days' time with the launch of the
Yeah.
Xbox Series X, until they showed the gameplay footage a couple of months back, and now it's
So that
just
was
dropped
August
off
that
the
they
face
did
of the
that.
earth. It's now like,
So
oh yeah,
Microsoft got some fairly poor feedback in August when well, it was a week after that they had this negative feedback to the gameplay that they released. So the thing about this is that there's no new launch date, although they're saying it could be 2021, which means it's not going to be a flagship launch alongside
no,
Series S
it's
and
definitely gone.
X.
They
It's not going to
that
be one of those
that
titles.
was going to be the game to come out with
Yeah.
Xbox Series X, and now they have no game. So now it is, look at all these Xbox One games that you can play in much better graphics and much better looking, is what they're pushing, because they don't
Yeah.
have anything ready for launch.
No.
They've
What's
been
interesting is Chris Lee, they're saying he remains with Microsoft. So I'm like, what, have they put him in a broom cupboard and he's just sort of like got a little gaming PC to be getting on
oh
with?
yeah, well,
What's he got? A retention clause in his contract or something?
obviously they've got a lot of studios, so I guess they could have reshuffled him somewhere.
Well, that means they have, basically.
But
He gets
yeah,
shuffled off
it's
somewhere.
definitely going through some issues. This is Halo Infinite. But I mean, I've never really been into the Halo series at all. But I know 343 has always had flack for what they've done with Halo since Bungie stopped
Mm.
making them. And I sort of people were saying there's now like almost as many bad Halos as there is good ones. You're at that point now where, 343 has had the franchise for longer than what Bungie did, and
Yeah.
they haven't come out with a critically acclaimed Halo. It's just like the
Yeah.
first few that are like held in good regard. So I don't know. Do you think this is going to end up as like a Metroid Prime 4 situation, like
Oh,
where they have to come out, Microsoft has to come out and go, yeah, we're restarting this project.
I think it
We're
could,
giving
to
this
be
project to
honest.
Bungie.
Yeah, because
They
I
can
mean,
make it for us now.
what we sort of said there is that they had some negative reviews, but let's be clear about this. It was howlingly bad.
I,
I mean, they hated it.
I think the problem was it wasn't being made exclusively for the next gen consoles. It was
Yeah.
being made for the Xbox One as well. I think it would probably do better if they just sort of did bring it out near the end of next year or 2022, so they could just be like, no, we're not running it on the old stuff whatsoever. This is purely a
Yeah.
next gen game, because it obviously it's been in development for quite a while. I know they're running on a new engine and everything, so they're having to get to grips with all that as well. But the fact that you're trying to like Cyberpunk has run into this same issue of
Yes.
trying to get, from what they were sort of saying from before with Cyberpunk, it's the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One that they're struggling with, which is why it's only going to be like a 13-day delay or something like that, a 2-week delay,
Yeah.
to give them a
Yeah.
chance to try and make a patch for that. Like, it's running fine on PC, it's running fine on the next gen stuff, but they just can't get a consistent frame rate probably on the older consoles. And I
I'd have
think
thought
that's
so.
one of the problems. Like, when they released the gameplay of Halo Infinite, it was so not next gen because it was having to run this big open world Halo on older systems.
Older systems,
So I
yeah.
think,
And that was the main criticism is
yeah,
what's next gen about this? I mean, this what the hell is this?
and if they
You
just,
know,
if,
I have some level of sympathy for that, given what's been happening this year.
oh
Developers have
yeah,
found it hugely hard. Even the big players, you know,
oh
have admitted their difficulties. Smaller ones, whew,
yeah, I think unless you're a one man team, this year's just been awful for trying to develop stuff, because like you say,
absolutely.
it's a unprecedented situation that we're in for our time. Like, no one has been in a situation like this that's alive really today, is there? Apart from
No,
people that,
and I think a lot of people feel like, well, you're in software. Why can't you just work from home? And we were talking about this the other day, weren't we? It
Yeah.
doesn't really work like that.
Yes, because obviously everything's got to be secure. You've got to have unbelievably powerful PCs to work on for these things. Otherwise, rendering times and stuff just take ridiculous amount of times.
You
So
can't necessarily transport that whole system which you're developing on a game from
yeah,
the office
well, no, because
to the home
It's all
in all
tied
these
into the
different
server,
things.
isn't it, at the office? So all the
Absolutely.
data is stored in a main server unit at the office, and you've got the remote
Yeah, and
stations to
let's
work
be
from.
honest, these are not sort of like home servers. The size of these servers, they're pretty
They're
big and
rooms.
they need yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
They're wardrobes, walk-in wardrobes, and they need industrial level cooling and they need, particular atmospheric
yeah,
conditions. These are so big that there's no way that you can suddenly set that up at home, and
exactly.
you can't
And
tap into it remotely either because of
because
the security system
exactly,
and
if
the way that
they
it
allowed
runs.
it to be easily tapped into from home, they would have been hacked.
Absolutely.
Like
So,
like that. So it's an unfortunate situation. I don't think it would be a bad thing if they did have to restart development, as long as they were open and sort of said, look, we're really sorry, but it's not going where we want it to go. We're going to start again. Exactly what Nintendo did with Metroid Prime 4. People were like,
yeah,
oh. But then when they sort of said, oh, Retro Studios is now doing it, because they were the ones that made Metroid Prime
yeah,
2 on the GameCube. Not that anybody that made those games still works there, but everyone was
no,
all like, oh yeah, Retro Studios is doing it, that's great. So if they did pass it on to another company, but again, 343 Industries are kind of the Halo people at the moment, so the chances of them
that's
doing
right.
that. But what they are doing is bringing people in. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see where it goes, whether it'll all come out at the same time, because like the multiplayer is meant to be free to play. So there's rumours that maybe the multiplayer will come out first before the campaign,
Yeah,
and like drip feed you the game rather than it all coming out at once.
totally.
It's
So,
something to keep an eye on.
it is something to keep an eye on. So, talking of backwards compatibility,
Yes,
oof,
Sony came out the other day and gave us a list of like, what was it, 10 games that would not work on the PS5 and all the others would.
it's eight actually. There are
8.
eight
But
games
now,
that they released. Now, this is actually from a blog post on Ubisoft Connect.
yes,
But it's basically not all Ubisoft
yeah,
PS4
Ubisoft
games
has now
will
said.
work on PS5.
So that list is not 8 games that won't work on the PS5, apparently.
So there are four Assassin's Creed titles on there: the Syndicate, Chronicles Trilogy, Chronicles India, Chronicles Russia, and then there's also Risk, Star Trek Bridge Crew, Werewolves Within, and Space Junkies. And those are the ones that will definitely not be backwardsly compatible.
Yeah. I know some of those are VR, aren't they? Like Star Trek Bridge Crew is VR.
Yes.
Because I noticed that with the last list that Sony put up, that a few of those were VR games.
Hmm.
So, yeah, it's kind of like... So if these aren't backwards compatible, why did these get left out of the list last time? And
Yeah.
how many more games are not going to be backwards compatible? Was Sony just saying, the games we published, these are the ones that won't work? Or were
Yeah,
they...
well, we had this discussion, didn't we? We said, I think there'll be more once they start going through them and the list will
Yeah,
start growing
like I
and
said,
growing.
it's just like to actually just test all these games, whether they can
Length of
work.
time.
The amount of time you've got to have to test like 4,000 odd games is ridiculous, even with a massive, great big party of people testing them. And you're not going to hire 100 people to sit down and test all the games. You're just going to sort of say, like what they did, well, don't buy any DLC until you're sure it works well. Because you're
Yeah.
just going to let the people out there test it and see if
So
there's any
this is
weird
not
glitches.
the end of the list, is what I
No.
suspect.
The
This
list will grow.
grow and grow.
There will be like a 4-tier system, I think. There'll be games that work perfectly and are enhanced. Games that they work for the most part. Games that are very buggy. Weird things
Very
happen. And yeah, games just don't work. So, I mean, at the end of the day, I don't think it's going to affect people that early on in the generation, because the people that are buying the PlayStation 5 probably have a PlayStation 4 already.
Probably.
So it's not a big issue, but it's kind of like, why? Misinformation. Only
This
8
is the
games,
shape of things
and now
to
there's more
come.
games, and there'll probably be more down the line as well.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Okay, this next bit of news is kind of UK specific.
Specific. So this is disappointing to me because we had a bit of a trawl round the shops last week to look for clues to see where there might possibly be getting stock of next gen consoles, didn't we? So we were in Tesco and we were in, I don't know whether they call it Smiths or Smythes. Which
Smiths
one
toys,
is it?
yeah, Smiths. Smythe, I don't know, but they actually are one of the actual distributors of next gen games as well, of the consoles, so they've already sold out if you look on their websites.
Yeah, so the pre-orders have all sold out, basically.
And because obviously the UK from Thursday is going into a full lockdown, so non-essential shops have to be closed. So Game
has
tweeted out sort of saying, please come in before close on Wednesday to pay for your pre-order, and then you'll get a time slot that you can pick it up on the day of release, so that it can be all like contactless. You can turn up, we can just leave it at the door, you can pick it up and go. So I'm wondering if that means
skeptical about this.
What happens if people don't get there to pay? Does that mean that their pre-order's cancelled and I could get one?
Yeah, but there's also let's be honest about this. The Prime Minister's message to the nation said, stay at home. If you run into the police tracking into Game sometime on Thursday saying, I'm just going to pick up my new console, I think they might have limited sympathy for you, to be honest, because they basically say you can only leave home for work if you definitely can't work from home, and to shop for essentials. That is it.
No, to be fair, a next-gen console is essential.
I knew you were going to say that.
And I'll probably do my food shopping at the big Tesco's on the 10th of November. And if I'm there getting my bread and milk, and there happens to be an Xbox Series X on the shelf,
just out of interest, how are you getting there?
Push bike.
Whatevs.
You mean whatevs?
You know you only go there if I drive you.
I went to that drive-through Costa on Sunday on a push bike.
I love that. Anyway, I just want to say, for those who are thinking of dobbing us in, Farron is a single person, so he bubbles with me.
Yes.
So I drive him to Donut Friday.
I see no one else, so.
So
no one
at all.
Just
as well, to be fair, because you're grumpy
cat.
And you don't like children.
Just a cat.
Yeah.
Children would be better if they were cats.
But here's the thing, because the pre-orders are all sold out, and now you can only get the pre-orders. I mean, that's it. You've got no chance now, because we genuinely thought, we'll have a look around Tesco, we'll have a look around Smiths, we'll have a look around. If there's one, we might pick it up,
Yeah, it's like I say, I'm not going to go, to be honest, I'm not going to go, like, shop trawling. One, all the shops are closed anyway, but I did have that thought that maybe one of the larger supermarkets might get a couple in stock. So I will do my food shopping that day just to see if they have or not. But I think kind of like now it's like you're not getting one of these till December unless you can find one online to be ordered.
Yeah, it'll be next year, won't it, bestie?
No. I'll just wait near Game and just jump someone that's walking away with an Xbox.
Hanging out.
Mine.
I'll creep. That was the end of that.
I'll just crouch down, walk slowly. When I get close, the pickpocket thing will come up. I'll just take the Xbox and walk away.
So yeah, the takeaway from this is, if you have got a pre-order, you will have a click and collect slot.
Yes,
but other than
pretty
that,
much.
You haven't got a hope in hell of getting a next-gen console.
Yeah, you can't go browsing around shops to find one, unfortunately. But I don't think there was any stock coming in anyway. I think all the stock had gone.
We didn't see any evidence that they were planning on getting any, did we?
Well, they had the PS5 controllers and stuff advertised there, so you're waiting for a Black Friday deal. That's for the Nintendo Switch, though. Nintendo Switch Black Friday deal, because you're not going to get a PlayStation 5 or Xbox One Series X on a Black Friday deal.
Rubbish.
So yeah, and finally, obviously, like, the PlayStation 5's coming out, and it's got these big side panels that just sort of pop off. So obviously one company was kind of like, do you know what we can do? We can make custom panels in different colours so people will buy them off us. And so that's what they did. And then
So they started working with a company in China to make these bespoke panels.
Yes.
And apparently they came in 5 different colours. You could get them in indigo blue, cherry red, chromatic, black, matte black, and jungle camo.
And they launched their website and they were called PlayStation, weren't they? PlayStation 5.
PlayStation 5,
And
yeah.
then Sony was like, hang on, you can't change your name. Change your name. So they did. They changed the branding of their website. And then Sony was like, no, this is our intellectual property. You can't sell these.
No,
and the website has now closed and is refunding everybody's money.
Yeah, so I think, reading between the lines, they've received a cease and desist from Sony.
Yes, apparently.
Threatening legal action. I mean, I don't know how much money they were making at, because the actual price on these was £32.
But cheap plastic from China, come on.
All right, probably.
And that's the other thing, it's like
£1 profit.
If they're doing these
skipping.
before they even know that PlayStation was out, how do they know they were going to fit? How do they know all the tabs are going to be in exactly the right place?
But anyway, so these were available for shipping on the website before November the 12th.
And apparently there's a quote here from the company. But then Sony's lawyers told us that it was their opinion Sony's intellectual property extended to the faceplates, and that if we continued to sell and distribute them in any country, we would end up in court. I mean, it's
when you're
very
threatened by Sony, it's time to shut down the operation, isn't it? They've got deep pockets for the lawsuit.
It's very possible that Sony has patented the way they clip to the shell or something, the way they clip to the console or something, to stop people from doing this.
Yeah.
So if you do want a custom one, you're going to have to get your PlayStation 5, take the panels off, get some spray paint and paint it yourself.
Or print one on your printer.
Or, God, do you have how big a printer you'd need for a PlayStation 5 shell?
It's
Come
massive,
on.
isn't it?
It's a huge thing. It's a huge thing.
Yeah.
So all these people that wanted lovely custom printed shells on day one, no, you're not allowed.
It's not happening.
Just
that's what Sony
like
said.
the black and white, because that's what Sony wants you to have. That's why the controller's black and white. That's why the remote control's black and white. That's why the camera's black and white. That's why the headset's black and white. You're not allowed any other colours.
Fascists. That's what they are.
All you're allowed is shades.
Monochromatic. That's it.
That is.
That's all the news
that's
for today,
news.
bestie.
That is this week's news.
It's been a bit of a quiet week, hasn't it?
It has. I really struggled to find things. Yes, Barlas, I will. When I cycle all the way to Tesco's, I will put the video up on YouTube. She saw one of my cycling videos the other day.
They're so good, aren't they?
I haven't done one for ages. Black and white, like my cats.
Yeah.
So again, we're at that point of the show where if you want to ask us any questions, please feel free. You can get to us on Twitter. Just put the hashtag Ninqueso Live, or you can leave a comment on our YouTube videos. Or if we haven't got any, so let's be real. Or you can type something in the chat here, and then we will respond to it.
Actually,
whoa,
we have.
I'm glad I'm sat down.
Yeah, right. The boyf asked me to ask. Yeah, my boyf.
He got hassle in my chat the other day.
You, what is the best strategy in Warzone? See, he's had some differing advice about this. So there's someone on YouTube that says the best strategy is to always go to the same location, because that location.
Yes.
And you can just concentrate on looting and getting your gear. But then, on the other hand, your strategy is go anywhere and hide.
No, my strategy is I like to land on a high building so that I know no one's coming up behind me. I like to keep the gas cloud close to my back and then move in with it.
So that is a really good strategy, is because sort of 9 times out of 10, when you get killed in Warzone, you get shot from the back.
Yeah, you don't see people.
If you're playing on, so when you're playing on a console, basically, for those who don't know, the right thumbstick is what you use to aim with, but it's also what you use to turn around with. So when you need to turn around very, very fast, you need the thumbstick to be very sensitive. But when it is sensitive, it's actually very difficult to aim. So you're kind of trying to strike a balance. So what ends up happening is you're trying to get your shot in, because 9 times out of 10, again, you want to get hit a headshot to kill the person because they've usually got body armor. But on the other hand, it's kind of, you need to be looking behind you as well. So there's a bit of a tricky balance there.
Yeah.
So that's why being close to the edge of the circle, so the gas cloud is at your back, gives you a little bit more insurance, in terms of getting killed early on in the game.
Yeah, I mean, Debbie says she plays it a lot on Call of Duty Mobile, and she'll always land in the same place. I mean, obviously, you get to know where you land, and you kind of get to know where things are likely to be, because obviously the crates and stuff are not always in the same place. I mean, I'm far from an expert. Really, really not. But my strategy is always try to land somewhere high up, because you're on a building, then there's tends to be quite a bit of stuff in the building. If I'm feeling brave, then maybe I'll try and get like a stash, like a weapons crate run or something.
Well, I mean, I have to say that, one of the best things really is to get your load out, but you don't like getting your load out, do you?
No, I love getting my load out, but the problem with the loadouts is if you just get a loadout that's randomly dropped, everyone's got that loadout, so it's a hot spot for getting sniped. It's kind of like if you go straight away, you're in trouble. If you can get enough cash and you buy yourself a loadout and you drop it yourself, then that's a lot safer.
A custom loadout will set you ahead very, very significantly.
But the loadouts kind of come out later on in the game, and it's always that gamble, like, I've already invested like 10-15 minutes into this game. Do I want to risk it all getting that loadout? If I get killed going for it, I'll normally go back straight to it and try and land on it.
See, I think when you first start, what you really want to do is just get yourself a good weapon and then get into it, because the longer you wait, that basically means the people you're up against are phenomenally good. They
get better
are,
and better,
they're high levels. They've got incredible weapons. They've got ghosts. They've got a heartbeat monitor. They've got everything, and they're just, when you're up against them, they'll take you down as soon as they see you.
Yeah.
Whereas early on in the game, if you get stuck in, then you're up against people who are as crap as you are.
Yeah,
basically.
People are more on your level kind of thing. So
yeah,
I don't think
that's why I think camping out in a building is just a really bad strategy when you first start. You might get killed more often. Obviously, you get experience in the gulag, or as the boys likes to say, I'm back in the goulash, baby. Which gives me a bit of a wrong, sort of image in my head, really. But anyway, so I think it's better to get more experience early on.
Just you need to get used to quick aiming, and the only way you can do that is to actually get involved in gunfights. And if you're just hiding away from them, you're not going there. I mean, yes, I do hide, but if I do see someone, I do try and go hunting. It's kind of thing. The thing reason being I do like that hiding, because like you say, I'm going to get shot in the back half the time if I go out. So it's that fine balance of like, I mean, I think it was better when we were doing duos, because obviously we had twice as many eyes. But yes, that was the question, and we don't really have an answer.
A few different ideas on that, really.
Just play the game and have fun, however you enjoy playing it.
I think get stuck in. That's the number one piece of advice that I would say, is just get in there and get stuck in. Don't worry about how many times you got to respawn into the game.
Says the lady who's only ever played it once. and didn't kill anyone. She thinks she killed a zombie, but I actually shot it from the side.
You didn't. You didn't. I shot him.
Why did you die then?
I had a better gun than you. Anywho, are we going to do the Batman thing? Any more questions, by the way? Any more questions?
No, we've just got Debbie saying that she doesn't think it's fair that when you play on the Xbox, she's level 6 and she's engaged with people that are level 155.
Yeah, that's true. I have to say, I'm what did I get to? I got to a level 19. But you're right. You can.
There's no skill-based matching.
Phenomenally good.
I know. Like we should try Fortnite, because in the arena mode there is skill-based matching.
Yeah, I think that'd be good.
So we should try that.
Yeah.
And I don't know when the big Mario. The problem with the big Mario Kart track thing is the hall that we were going to do it in is now officially closed until at least next year.
Yeah.
So unless we break in under the cover of night when no one's watching, which wouldn't be a good video because it'll all be in the dark. It's kind of like it's not going to happen till next year. But
No.
I will have printed a lot of things as well. I saw a video on YouTube as well, and someone's actually got like a big industrial hall and made like a proper go-kart place, and they've made it into a Mario Kart.
You could come over and bubble in my lounge with it, because it's actually quite a bit of space there.
Yeah, because you could go over the lounge into the kitchen and around. You could do a fairly big track there. I still want to do some videos of me trying to do different shaped tracks in my place.
Yeah.
How many small tracks can I make? But yeah, how about the park? It's not a game to be played outside, I'm afraid.
Not at this time of year.
No, the cars are not waterproof in any way. So if any moisture gets into them, that's it there.
So have the ladies got any more questions for us?
Any more questions? Give you a count of 10.
Debbie, Bartlett, ask.
There's 5 people watching. There's lurkers watching as well. Lurkers.
I wonder if Maxine's on there. Hello, Maxine.
I don't think she knows Twitch exists.
Oh, okay. All right.
Anyway, I think that's it for this week.
It is.
So you can catch us on Queso_Cheeselits for me on Twitter, ElGranQueso74 on Facebook, and obviously Ninqueso on YouTube.
And I'm on Twitter as Gamergirl Miss Brie. That's GMRGRL_MISSBRIE. Gamergirl Miss Brie.
I think Debbie wants to know where you got your cushions from.
Oh, these ones, my fluffy ones. Do you know what? I've had those a couple of years. I got them from Tesco at Hampton.
She's from Wales, so Hampton.
Yeah.
Tesco Extra.
They are a little bit sort of like Afghanish, aren't they? Yeah.
I'm a Tesco Extra. Don't dox yourself. Don't let people know where you live. Jeez. So yes, we are here every 8 p.m. every Tuesday, apart from if something happens and then we're here a different day. You can catch up if you missed this video on YouTube, where it will be uploaded for your breakfast viewing tomorrow. And if you want to listen to us without looking at our pretty little faces, you can do so on all your podcast needed places. So, will EA ever behave themselves and stop trying to milk money from kiddies? Will Game Cloud stuff be the way of the future? Let's hope not. Find out these questions, these answers. Same cheesy time, same cheesy channel.
Actual stories may vary.
That was the worst one yet.
Terrible. Say good night, bestie.
Good night, bestie.